I'm relaxing because I already finished my Father's Day project ideas. And because I am ahead of time, I am going to share with you not one, not two, not three, but 5 different project ideas to get you motivated for Father's Day. Hola, my name is Betsy. I am the business owner of Amor to Create, and with this video, I want to get you motivated to use your xTool P2 and create 5 different projects for Father's Day. Let's go to my studio. For project number 1, we will engrave a hammer. This is a simple yet symbolic and original project. Start by measuring the space where the engraving will be placed. Because of the thickness of the hammer, I removed the slats of my xTool P2 and remove the base. Then place the hammer at the bottom of the P2. The first step is to select the base plate removed under the mode at the right toolbar panel and then measure the distance of the hammer. For this project, I am using the new beta version of XCS, but don't worry, you can follow along with any version of xTool CreateSpace. First, place a rectangular shape with the measurements of the space for the engraving. In this case, it was 10.5 inches by 1.25 inches. This rectangular shape will help us align the engraving sentiment. You can engrave a name, a monogram, or even a special date. For this engraving, I will create a sentiment in xTool CreateSpace. I wrote the sentiment using the Lato font and centered inside the rectangular shape. Finally, use the close-shot camera to place the rectangular shape as close as possible to the wood part of the hammer. For this project, I used the engraving settings of 15 power and 240 speed. If you would like a darker engraving, adjust to a higher power and a slower speed. This project took less than 3 minutes to engrave. Love how this looks. If you want to see the difference in settings, stay tuned for the next projects. Now let's create project number 2. For the materials, I will engrave a leather golf key holder. And because this material is less thick than the hammer, I will use the slats and the pins to secure the blank. You can use this example to engrave a leather patch or leather knife holder. I followed the same steps as we did in project number 1, but to center the image, I used a circular shape instead of a rectangular shape. Don't forget to uncheck the output option to ignore the circular shape and only engrave the image. This image only took 1 minute and 29 seconds to engrave. For project number 3, I chose to engrave a flask from the xTools selected line. These flasks are so much fun to engrave, not only because the engraving is so easy and fast to create, but also because they come in a beautiful box. I also removed the slats for this project and used the engraving settings of 80 power and 600 speed with 200 lines per centimeters. To clean the engraving, I used a cloth with a little bit of alcohol. This project took less than 10 minutes to engrave. For project number 4, I will use different engraving settings so you can compare how dark the engraving can look when adjusting the power and lowering the speed. I am going to engrave the wooden handle of a spatula. I used the slats and made sure the spatula was leveled and followed the same steps from the hammer engraving project number 1 by using a rectangular shape to center the engraving. I added the quote "best flipping dad" to make this gift a little funny and used the settings of 30 power, 80 speed, and 100 lines per centimeters. This project took less than 4 minutes to engrave using the xTool kit. For our final project, I used a tape measure. I placed the tape inside the machine to scan the space where the shape will be placed. After scanning and creating the shape, I remembered to remove the tape and place a piece of wood in the machine. For this project, I will cut a piece of wood with a font sentiment and glue it over the tape. This is a fun way to update a blank with the sentiments for Father's Day. I added the phrase "no one measures up to you" and used the curved feature of XCS and added it to the top of the circle. Then added the word "dad" that will be engraved on the center, and finally the outer shape will be cut. And finally, just glue the cut image to the tape. Wasn't that fun? And here are our 5 projects. Thanks for watching and see you again soon with many other project ideas using your xTool machines.